Seth,
Hi, Jonathan.
we're back, baby.
Yes.
I'm so excited that we're bringing back No Experts Allowed. Since May, when our last episode came out, I've just felt like something's missing. Truly, I'm not just saying that. I was doing some reflection recently, and I was like, dang, I really miss doing this podcast.
I appreciate that. I missed it too.
Our listeners have not heard from us in a while. Seth, what's been going on with you?
Our listeners heard about all my eye problems from before, and since then, I've had 2 eye surgeries, and I have one more, and that surgery will take the bubble out of my eye that has been in since last February. So that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Is this, if all goes well, this will be the last one?
Correct. And there's statistically a 99% chance that this is successful.
Amazing. You can't beat those odds.
I know. Seriously.
That's incredible. Well, I know for me, and part of the reason that we pressed pause to use podcast language, or I guess any form of audio listening language or video, but since we pressed pause, I've started a new degree program. Back in school, working on my PhD in education, trying to get the motivation to finish my final exams, which is not going well, but it's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. But Seth, I mentioned this before, but I so value this experience with you because I think in my life, at least in my memory, I've never had an experience where I've encountered the divine as much as I think we've had when we've recorded this podcast together, especially so consistently over a period of time. I think it really became a discipline for me that I really missed. And I'm so glad that we've found a way to bring the podcast back.
Me too. I'm glad to be here.
So, we are just putting together this quick teaser to refresh your podcast feeds and make sure that you know that some more episodes are coming soon. But our format is going to be a little bit different in this revival, so to speak, of No Experts Allowed. We're still going to release episodes pretty consistently, but you might not hear from us every week like you might be used to back in the day. Instead, we want to highlight and study together and talk together during important seasons of the church year. So, our first series that's going to be coming out soon is a series that covers some of Advent and Christmas this year. We're going to release episodes on the 3rd and 4th Sundays of Advent, on Christmas, and on the 12th day of Christmas, Epiphany. And so those 4 episodes will constitute our first series back. And Seth, obviously, we're still going to encounter Scripture. I hope that we encounter God through these sacred texts. But we also have some hopes in terms of what we want to do as we encounter the texts during these particular seasons, right?
Exactly. And that's the biggest shift in our resurrection of No Experts Allowed. Instead,
I like resurrection.
thanks.
Maybe it's a little overstated, but I'm here for it.
Maybe. Instead of coming to you each week with something that is a totally different topic, these will be more like a TV show, like a small season where there's things that overlap. They're going to be connected from week to week. And we're still going to look at texts from different weeks in the church year. But our hope is to do something a little bit broader than the last go around. So this time, for Advent, Christmas, and Epiphany, we're going to talk about Christian nationalism. I was tempted to say, I'm so excited.
Fair.
I'm excited to be back, but I don't know if I'm that excited to talk about Christian nationalism.
Agreed. Well, see, Seth, the thing is, and we'll probably mention this several times, people use scripture to uphold oppressive ideologies. So why not use scripture to tear down those ideologies instead? And we can talk more about what it means to have a lens that we approach scripture with, but we can't be without our lenses. You and I both, as people who wear corrective lenses literally, but also as human beings who are encountering religious experiences, spiritual experiences, encountering sacred texts, we cannot do so free from the systems we're a part of. So why not intentionally look through the lens of being for liberation, being for the marginalized, and, being a little bit less about ourselves? And I think that's going to come through really clearly, we hope so at least, in this first series about Christian nationalism and its relationship to Advent and Christmas. Should we clearly state that we're against Christian nationalism?
I think so.
Yeah, I would hope people would know that. But for the record, this is an Advent and Christmas series against Christian nationalism, not just about it. So keep an eye on your podcast feeds, because Seth and I have got some stories to tell.
But these stories will come to you not on Saturdays like we were doing before, but we're going to have a different release schedule. We're going to release on Advent 3 and Advent 4 and Christmas Day and again on Epiphany.
That's right, a slightly different schedule, but we hope the same kind of meaningful experience. We can't wait to be on this journey with all of you. You're not going to see us every week all the time, but we are going to release
or
series.
Hear us. You said see us.
Classic.
Sorry. This is what you would do all the time on the radio.
I know.
Or this is way too loud. It's okay. You gotta cut this off.